the Trustful Clinical Budgeting Podcast. I am your host, Alexandra, and today I am very pleased to welcome Anna. Anna is currently an International Operations Director at Pratia, where she is responsible for making sure clinical trials run successfully across different countries, from achieving KPIs to implementing systems, tools, and reporting across the full trial lifecycle. Also, Anna is a country head in Ukraine and CEO of Pratia Clinic Ukraine. So she brings practical, hands-on experience to leadership. Anna, it's great to have you here. And before we dive in, would you please introduce yourself and share what your current focus is in your role today?
Hello, Alexandra. Thank you very much for your invitation. It's a great pleasure for me to be here, to be a guest of your podcast. You have already mentioned a lot about me, so I just can confirm that, I'm currently serving as an International Operations Director in Pratia. Pratia is the global site network, so we operate across 8 European countries and the United States of America. We have our own clinical research sites and embedded or affiliated clinical research sites, so the medical institutions based on which we arrange clinical research units. In this role, I focus on ensuring that clinical trials are delivered efficiently and consistently across multiple countries. And this includes overseeing performance metrics, implementing operational systems, ensuring that we have a real-time visibility across the entire study life cycle, as you mentioned. At the same time, and actually I started my cooperation and work with Pratia as the country head of Ukraine, I built our personal and first in Ukraine, the clinical research unit that was named Pratia Clinic Ukraine. And then I arranged an affiliated sites in several Ukrainian regions where we perform clinical trials from 2020 during the pandemic. Exactly when the pandemic was announced, we established our companies and official entities on the territory of Ukraine. And I am closely involved in both operational execution and strategic leadership here. My current focus in Ukraine is really on aligning these global standards with local realities, because it's always difficult when you're a part of big corporation, where you're a part of international organization. So you need to make sure that your team is empowered, your processes are scalable, and our delivery remains high quality despite increasing complexity that unfortunately we have nowadays in Ukraine.
Yes, and also as we just discussed and you told to us, in your current role as an International Operations Director, you're responsible for ensuring delivery performance across a global portfolio. So it's from KPIs and also systems to real-time study tracking. And from your point of view, Anna, what do you see like the biggest risks today in keeping trial performance consistent? And what are the hardest challenges to manage when you're overseeing many studies across the different countries and teams?
Well, thank you very much for this question. I believe it's not possible to find the right answer on it and to be 100% sure that your vision and understanding of this process will be exactly what is needed for everyone in our business, and especially in our world, quickly changing, sometimes crazy, quickly changing, all around, too quick around us. So all of this is but overall, I think that the first things that were typically break down are communication and alignment. And when you have these multiple countries, when you have teams, different teams, especially different stakeholders, when you're making these mergers and acquisitions, so we're buying, for example, existing businesses that were already fully operational, successfully operational on the territory of the country for a long period of time, it's very difficult to align people and to make this proper communication with different mindset, with different national things of understanding the business, of understanding even the life. And sometimes even the small delays or misinterpretations, misalignment, misleading, I don't know what would be the best word to say, they can quickly escalate into the large operational issues. And when you operate on this global scale, the biggest risk to consistent trial performance is this fragmentation. And it doesn't matter where it is. It's in processes, in communication itself, or even in data visibility. That's why, for me, I believe the next point and the next challenge, one of the biggest one, this is the maintaining real-time visibility. Because the more sites you've got, the more companies you've got, you're not capable to go to drill down to go to the each part of the process, operational process inside each of the country, inside each of the site, and you need to have this real time trustful visibility of the data in the companies, in the departments with whom you're working. And without this reliable centralized data, it becomes very difficult to proactively manage risks, because always we're speaking about risk mitigation, about the understanding how we can predict the issues, how we can be before something bad is going to happen, and teams may end up reacting too late instead of preventing these issues because they're overwhelmed. We know how it's going on usually. A lot of questions, a lot of problems, everyday routine tasks, and not everyone has this possibility to focus on more strategic things during the routine activity. And all of this requires very strong governance, clear KPIs, clear metrics, and well-integrated systems, which should be a helpful tool for each party to be involved in the operations on a more strategic level. So consistency at scale comes down to standardization combined with flexibility. This having clear frameworks, but also allowing adaptation to local conditions.
Okay, I see, Anna. So as far as I understood from your very good reply and very good explanation, the most important is, of course, nowadays communication, right? And you would like to have got everything in one place so that it would be much easier to manage. Yeah, once again, that's very insightful, and especially how complex it becomes at scale now. And let's now look at this form from your country level perspective. So, Anna, as you are a country head, your role goes far beyond just overseeing trial execution, I'm pretty sure here, because you're balancing operational team leadership, also financial performance, and as you also just described, between sponsors, CROs, sites, and regulators. So, can you tell me, please, how do you manage all of these responsibilities while still ensuring that clinical trials are delivered successfully at the country level? And Anna, where do you see the biggest challenges today? I mean, is it more around operations, people, financial pressure, or just overall stakeholder alignment?
Thank you very much for the next questions. Very tricky one, I believe. And sometimes initially, as I said, I started my operations on the country level, and for me it was really very difficult to understand and to find this golden mean, yet to find this balance between the requirements of the global organization, as Pratia is. Sometimes we've got this misunderstanding with each other, so I was convincing that it will not work. We cannot use this, we cannot implement this, but they'll say that, but we must. This is the standard. This is how it should be. I do not know whether it's possible or not, but it must be in such a way. And at the beginning, it was really such a difficult transformation period, even for me internally, to understand how to find these possibilities, how to find these proper directions and proper ways to implement the necessary requirements from the global organization, from the global departments, from our central departments, for example, in finance, in regulations like lawyers and something like that. Then I came to this role of international operations. I faced with more challenges as well, which we discussed with you previously. It was another way of looking at your business, another way of estimating of your results. It's not absolutely the same as when you're staying on the country level, because really the key for me is this prioritization and structure. I was building this business on the territory of Ukraine. I rely heavily on these clear processes, defined responsibilities, and strong management. So you're not capable, and it's impossible to manage everything directly. So building a capable and accountable team is essential. So when you are on this role of global oversight, so Anyway, you have people from departments, from country representation with whom you can discuss this. But when you're building this structure and business on the country level, here you see exactly how crucial it is to have this accountable teams, accountability inside the team, how you can separate the roles, how you can align the processes between people. And actually, yes, the country level role is indeed very multifaceted. So you need to manage all of this at the same time, at the same day, and in the same minute. Yes, you mentioned operational delivery, team management, financial performance, external relationship with clients, with everyone. And this is immediately, as usually, at the same minute of the day that requires from you these actions, results, decisions to be made. But I also like such phrase, I don't know by whom it was said, that what you do here today is not enough to keep you in the same day tomorrow. And this keeps you always motivated, so it keeps you busy with the But anyway, I was trying to, on the country level, when we're speaking about these local operations, I was trying to bring this mindset to my people. So we're working hard. Every day we have these issues. We will have more work tomorrow anyway, but that's the only one way how we can move forward. Otherwise, we will be stuck or even thrown away for many years back in the work that we are doing, because operational challenges can usually be solved by systems, some processes. Financial pressure can be managed with good planning, some visibility, dashboards, but aligning people both internally, externally, our clients with whom we need to build these trustful relations, this requires a continuous communication, trust building, and leadership.
Yeah, I see. I absolutely agree with you. And especially when we're speaking about to grow the business, the people, they are our main resources, because without people just making alone, we can do nothing. And yeah, of course, we should think about sometimes people's mood as well, because we're all humans. So anyway.
And being a leader, you should take this responsibility on people's life.
Yes.
They give it to you. So they, especially if this is your full-time employees, so they trust you. They believe in your vision. They believe in your ideas. That's also some kind of a very high-level responsibility on each leader, of each person who is on the leadership position. Otherwise, we will not build any trustful relations and any progress in the business.
Agree. So, and I believe the next question will be rather tricky one. Since I'm a financial person, and also from my experience in clinical budgeting, one of the biggest challenges is having clear visibility into ongoing trials. It's not just within a single project, like a single trial, but understanding how they impact overall operations and the financial health of the country. From your perspective, from your side being like a country head, how do you manage and monitor financial data across all trials and operational activities? And Anna, how do you ensure a clear, consolidated view of country-level performance, profitability, and also obviously resource allocation across the full portfolio of your operations, not just like individual studies, but like overall?
Yeah, thank you very much for this question as well. From a country perspective, this having consolidated visibility across all trials is absolutely critical. But also, if we're coming to the international level, I also said about this previously, that you must have it. Otherwise, it's not possible anyway to manage the business, to manage people, to do any stuff, and proper prognosis, proper risk management inside the organization. And when I started this my international role in the global department in Pratia, I was focusing on building exactly the structured reporting framework. So the reports, the dashboards that will combine both operational and financial data. During this period of time, we really created a system of the dashboards that integrate data from multiple systems. You know that bigger companies, they've got, the bigger company is, the more systems you will use.
I believe it's one of the main mistakes for all big companies, because we have got so many softwares or tools to work with.
Yeah, and you need, and sometimes it's not even okay. Sometimes when you're on this oversight, global oversight, maybe you have this time to open, you know where to open, what to find. But for people who are overloaded by daily routine on the site level, oh my God, they sometimes haven't got time to open their email box, but not to analyze the data from each of the system that they should do. That's why this was my task, and we're still in the process because as we discussed with you, our world is changing so quickly that you need to adapt this. And what we did, for example, even 3 years ago now was reviewing, adapting all of this, our dashboards, because we have new needs, we see new challenges that we need somehow to integrate into these systems from which we can take this data that will help us to analyze the data, to analyze the process and operations. It means not only tracking individual site performance, just to see the number of randomizations, screenings, visits performed. It's the understanding of the cumulative impact on the country's overall performance, and not only country, when we're speaking about regions, about the whole company, the whole network. So that's the main thing, and we're trying to bring this knowledge and awareness to our employees that this tracking, this data, it's not just to say, okay, I have 5 randomizations in this study. They know this exactly quite good and even better than you are. But this is to accumulate the data that will give you the understanding what to do tomorrow, what to do in a week, what to do in a month. And that's why we have these clear KPIs, metrics that are linked to profitability, efficiency, source allocation. We have this regular reviews. We have financial reviews. We are making the plans. We are making the forecasting during the year. We are having this tracking and links between the work done, like randomizations, screenings performed, number of visits performed, with the financial data that will come actually by the operations, by the activities performed on the site level. About these metrics, I believe each company should have their own, because everyone understands better what type of the metrics and KPIs have the biggest impact here on the process. But I believe for everyone it's this financial part that includes revenue, gross profit, EBITDA, depending also on the scale of the business and the activities that are performed there. This is study level profitability, so we need to understand what is the level when our sites will be profitable in their performance. So that's also one of the important KPIs for site networks, especially. And of course, enrollment. So we're in constant communication with CROs, with sponsors. They want from us. And by the way, they have their own KPIs. I usually hear that they have their personal metrics, how they estimate the work of the site, and we're not usually aligned with them. That's also one of the gaps between our stakeholders in our industry. I mean, sponsors, CROs, sites, PIs, all of us were focusing on our own things, metrics and KPIs, but at the same time they might be so much different, and all of us has this confidence that we are doing the best job, but it may appear that, for example, from the sponsor CRO perspective, your site might be in a blacklist, for example, according to their metrics that they have already created and reporting inside their organization.
Okay, thanks so much, Anna. And we are coming to the end, Anna, as we also discussed and you explained to us, you have built a remarkable career across clinical practice, operations, and also like leadership. Tell me, please, what advice would you give to professionals looking to grow into leadership roles in clinical research? Maybe can you tell me, please, which skills make the biggest difference for you? How important is it to understand like both operational and also financial aspects of the clinical trials? Your advices.
So if to speak more pragmatically about these key areas of improvement or some exact skills what a person should have, I understood this only by this my experience, by passing all of this away in the development of the business. And I have this lucky chance to be a part of the big organization, so I can see it, I can feel it, how it is. And I believe that this develop a strong understanding of both operational and financial parts of the business. It's not enough to deliver trials. You need to understand how your decisions impact profitability and sustainability of your business. The second thing, I believe this is invest in communication, in this management skills that we discuss with you, because leadership is not just about expertise, it's about aligning people, driving this collaboration across complex environments. And the bigger organization is, the more international it is, so the more difficult this part to find the proper solutions, how to communicate with the people, how to align them and give them this understanding why they need to do this work and why we're asking them to do this work, to perform it for the company's reasons. The third one, I believe this to be adaptable and open to continuous learning. But overall, I believe that each person should believe in its own purpose in this life. I like such a Japanese word, ikigai, that means to discover your purpose in life. And I believe that a life goal is not something that keeps you awake late at night, but something that makes you wake up early in the morning. This actually how was my business built, starting from Ukrainian operations, because actually I was going to bed each time with new ideas in my head. I was waking up early in the morning because I have this drive, energy, how I would like to implement this, how I would like to bring it to people, to my employees, to develop, to find new ways of expansion on the new, let's call it in such a way to build something new and more meaningful on the territory of Ukraine. And that's actually what should drive us to find this purpose in life and to bring good in this world.
Thank you so much, Anna, for your really insightful advices. And I also would like to add that when our work is not just like a work when we go to the office or work remotely, open the laptops from 8 till 5, but when we know that it's our passion, we're very happy people, because we can't say that we at work. It's our life, and we would like to develop ourselves there, and we would like to find an ideal solution how we can improve the current field where we currently work in. So yeah, and so Anna, thanks so much. This really had been a very insightful, like I told, and practical discussion. And what stands out is how crucial it is today to connect operations, leadership, and also financial feasibility, especially in complex global clinical trials. And to our listeners, I hope you found the conversation valuable and relevant. And Anna, again, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your experience. And thank you to everyone listening. We will see you in the next episode of the Trustful Clinical Budgeting Podcast.